It's been 11 years. So, what happened? From hiding and making YouTube videos for my entire family to nearly dying, there's quite the story to tell. I guarantee for any remaining subscribers or people who even remember who or what this account is, there are a lot of questions. Like, why was his voice so quiet in all of his videos? Where did he go? Yeah, I'll just start from the beginning. So, my name is Isaac. I was born in 1997, so in YouTube terms, I'm basically ancient history. I was homeschooled growing up. I grew up on a farm. Very, very restrictive family. Now, you've probably heard of some more restrictive parents. This is another level. I got, after age like 10 or 12, I got 1 hour of video games per week. I was not allowed internet access my entire time until I was an adult. I barely saw friends, and I've heard a lot of people say, just do whatever you want. Like, your parents will just deal with it. No, like the punishments were bad. Like, punishments were you don't get to see friends for 3 months. You don't get to play video games for 6 months. How about 1,000 handwritten sentences, like saying, I will not do, I will not disobey my parents. It is dishonorable. Yeah, right. Handwrite that 1,000 times. Go pick up 100 rocks out of our field in a bucket and then dump them in a pile. There really wasn't getting away with stuff either. Like my mom would regularly check up on whether or not we were sleeping after we had gone to bed, hours after. There's almost no time separated, right? Any and all screens, you couldn't try to sneak internet because all the screens had to face the whole open room, so there's no hiding that. We also had software on all of our computers that tracked all of the websites visited, if there was any website visits at all. And my older brother also was super strict, so even if the parents were gone on like a date night, he would be watching me like a hawk. And I get it to a certain extent. You don't want your child to turn into like a useless failure, lack of work ethic, no drive, no discipline. But that was insane. Everyone else was getting to grow up and I wasn't. So that's kind of the background before the whole YouTube video. So fast forward now, I'm 12, 13 years old. It's still all like this. I hear about YouTube and Minecraft from friends and cousins. And I guess the phrase necessity is the mother of invention comes into play here because I learned basic hacking. I learned how to break past the again, very basic hacking stuff, but for anyone who's familiar, SSH, SFTP, getting root on all our Macs at home, etc. I just learned I figured out ways and loopholes to get past the Covenant Eyes, which was the program that tracked everything. And I learned how to hide things very quickly. And I finally, rebellious me, when I have brief moments, like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, after doing all of this, I'm finally able to watch YouTube. I just wanted to watch Minecraft YouTubers. So I watched Etho, I watched Sky Does Minecraft, Captain Sparkles, Ant Venom, all those guys. And I wanted to do myself, but I couldn't, right? There's no way I could do that on any of our computers. They were all, again, basically 99% of the time public facing, right? There's no way I could do that. So I saved up for a year of doing chores and mowing lawns and whatever. And I went and bought an iPod Touch. And I learned to jailbreak it because there wasn't like screen recording back then. Because this was, if you're viewing this on this channel, you can look at my previous videos. There are a lot of cringe, young version of me, Minecraft Pocket Edition videos. Which I'm sure at the time they weren't all that cringe, but looking back, they seem really cringe. But hey, when you're little, that's how it goes, I guess. And yeah, that's where this channel began. So how did I get away with it? I would go to bed and I'd pretend to sleep for about an hour without doing anything. And then in the middle of the night, after my mom had done her 1 or 2 routine checks, usually past midnight, I would go underneath my covers because that was the only way to muffle the sound of me talking. And I would, I couldn't really play the game with sound, or if I did, it was like, you know, one earbud in, but if that, and at one volume because I had to hear footsteps were approaching and multiple times had to just like, the kind of 2 second, cut the, turn off the iPod, like tear out from underneath the covers and pretend I'm laying there asleep. So I recorded everything very quietly, which is why my voice was always so low and quiet, which was like a constant comment I would get on YouTube and Twitter back when I was recording these. I remember, why are you so quiet? I like your videos, but you're so quiet. Well, I had no choice. I edited it all on mobile, and this was before like CapCut, before any of the good mobile editors, just a few crappy apps, but I did it, terrible audio and video quality, but it worked. I actually nearly suffocated multiple times on accident, because I'd be under my covers trying to record or play or whatever for 2 hours, 3 hours until, 2, 3 a.m. And like, there wasn't oxygen. So I'd have to like come up for air. But I got, you know, hundreds of views usually on videos, some videos with thousands. I think I have a 1 or 2 on one of the 2 channels with like tens of thousands of views. Um, I made one of, if not the first record footage of playing online Minecraft Pocket Edition. Like we had to port forward routers and hex edit the game because the first like mini editions of the game, I want to say it was up until 0.6 or 0.7, you could only play on your LAN. But like if multiplayer support for LAN, you could figure out a way to hack it to like make it look like, over the internet. So I remember meeting some of my first people on there. I'm Date, Flip Beef, oh gosh, Acecraft, Potsy, a bunch of other people that, yeah, this video is so niche. But basically people in the Minecraft Pocket Edition community. You're my first online friends. I can't even remember the app we called through, but and I would have to randomly drop because my mom would come in and I have to be so quiet and people wouldn't be able to hear me. I remember my sister, probably a year into this, was like saying, "Mom, Isaac talks in his sleep," because she's in the bedroom like across from mine. And I'd be like, "No, I don't." She's like, "Yes, you do. I hear you." And I'm like, "Oh, I guess maybe I do." And it wasn't me talking in my sleep. It was just me talking to people over whatever. It wasn't Discord. I don't even think it was Skype. I think we may have done Skype, but it was usually another app. Yeah, crazy enough, I was 15 to 16 years old when I did most of these videos. I think I may have started at 14, but I think it was 15 for most of it. And I sounded and I looked 12. I was a very late bloomer. It did finally happen, but like puberty did not hit me until like really hard until 16, right around the time I stopped making videos. Yeah, so I did this for 2-ish years. I hit multiple milestones. I was never caught by my mom, which I hold to this day is a pretty insane accomplishment to hide like watching YouTube, pirating movies, all you things you like have to do when you have access to like no money and, you're hiding everything at night, but you want to be like a normal kid and have fun and play games. Funnily enough, I'm kind of being quiet right now because, I'll get into that later, but, that is kind of funny. That's ironic. But yeah, I hid YouTube and internet usage until I was an adult and went to college. I was never caught. So that leads to, why did I quit? Why did I retire? Crazy enough, I do not remember the exact reason. The pressure was certainly mounting. My relationship with my parents, especially my mom, was really at its worst, getting to its worst right around then when I was 16, 17. My parents were fighting a lot more. Um, yeah, uh, that foreshadowing. Um, Life was just getting more difficult, but I don't remember the specific reason I stopped. I really don't. Um, so where did I go? What did I do after that? So that's the pre story, and then the story kind of surrounding when I was making videos, and what's happened now. So I kept on going at home, finished up homeschooling. I nearly died once, actually. Turns out wakeboards plus water pressure plus head impact is an ugly thing. Got a big hole in the side of my head. Got a few concussions playing sports. I went to college. I hacked a bunch of things in college. Most of my university, actually, or a large part of it. I made friends. I got my computer science degree. And the foreshadowing earlier, my parents got divorced. Frankly, expected at that point, but still really hard on the whole family as it is. I discovered I was really good at video games, like really good in college. I finally got a PC, I think, when PUBG came out. So what would that be, 2017? I got my first gaming laptop because I just had a MacBook in college and could only play like League of Legends. And so I played collegiate League of Legends competitive. I did Fortnite and Rocket League wagers for money. I hit top 100 worldwide in a few different games, some smaller stuff like Krunker, Hyperscape, and Darwin Project. But I'm still pretty cool. I played a couple Hyperscape and Apex tournaments and scrims. Nothing too crazy. I actually had a gaming TikTok. I completely rebranded it. I went under a different name the last few years. I actually got millions of views and made a few $1,000s off of that gaming TikTok. And during all of that, I graduated college and began my career as a software engineer. And then life went on. I bought a car. I bought a house. Bought another car. Continued making friends. I met my girlfriend and turned her into my wife this last year, actually. Yep, I'm 27 years old. Holy crap. That is weird to say, considering I would have called me old if me that uploaded the last video saw me now, which is funny. Ever since we got married, my wife's had an unfortunately insane series of health issues, but that's a tale for a different time. And now I'm a few months from turning 28, and gosh, life goes fast. I certainly don't feel this old. Like I don't feel 20. I don't feel like I'm pushing 30, but I guess I am. So that's interesting. In the last 2 to 3 years, I kind of decided to set aside my dream of competitive gaming for to focus more on my career, focus on other things, self-improvement, family, health, software projects, and hopefully businesses soon. And other content creation, as well as my day job, of course. So this is my story, in short, so far. Last night, I just kind of remembered, I thought about this whole era and thought, you know what? I'll see if I can log into the account. And I can't seem to figure out the 70 Universe login. The recovery email is something I do not recognize. But I was able to get into 70 Gamer. I don't know what to expect. Probably like 20 views and maybe a couple people who remember my old accounts or the old Minecraft Pocket Edition community. I just feel like I should tell my story. I've never told this whole story online end to end, and it seems to be fitting to go to the first place where I appeared online to tell it. It wouldn't exactly fit with the current kind of content I do anyways. Yeah, I just felt like I should tell my story. And speaking of, I have 3 questions for you, whoever you are. So one is, do you remember this time and community? Like mobile games, Minecraft Pocket Edition, potentially even me, 70 Gamer. Gosh, why did I pick that name? Anyways, I'm genuinely curious. I want to know how many people were in this or even heard of it or play Minecraft Pocket Edition or watch these videos or watched other people. I don't actually know. Is there even a Minecraft Pocket Edition like community now. I have to imagine there is, but it's got to be so like, isn't this the full game ported over now? I'm pretty sure it is. Um. Anyways, the second question is, what is your story? I mean, just throw it in the comments, whether or not you were a part of this community, whether or not you have a story similar to mine. Obviously, I'd love to hear those, but if you've got any story, right? Like if you're watching this and you are the age I was when I was making these videos, like 15, you've got a story so far, throw it in the comments. I'd be curious to know. And if you're my age, you're pushing 30, you're hitting 30, maybe you're married, maybe you have kids, maybe you have a story growing up, maybe you've got crazy different stuff. I would love to hear it. From growing up to becoming an adult to moving on to the future, it's just cool hearing about different people. And the third one is, should I make more videos here? I can yap and talk about life. I have a lot of thoughts and takes. Everyone who knows me knows I talk too much and have way too many opinions. Maybe it's just the early YouTuber in me, never left. I'm not gonna relaunch this channel and play Minecraft Pocket Edition again. Well, I guess, I don't know. Maybe if enough people wanted me to, I would. That would be kind of funny. But I wouldn't mind making some classic commentary videos, like kind of old Minecraft and Call of Duty style, how people would just, like, you ever watch CNanners or any of the old Call of Duty commentators just kind of play the game and just talk about life or their day? I'd be willing to do that. That could be kind of fun. I might just do that anyways. I don't know if I'd do that here, but yeah, if you would love to hear more about my stories or my life or my thoughts on various things, just, I don't know, throw them in the comments, I guess. I say this, there's probably going to be like one comment on this video, and it's going to be like one person who had alerts on for my channel and is like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard of you since I was like a child. In all likelihood, this is a one-off that, is going into the void, but I figured I'd light the beacon for anyone part of this old community. If you're seeing this and you're like, oh my gosh, I used to make videos or I used to watch them, let me know, comment. Just throw it in the YouTube comments. I'm not checking any of the rest of I think the only other social media I had for this was not a TikTok, a Twitter at the time. I haven't checked that one in years. So yeah, I would love to hear from people. And if more than likely it's very few or nobody, that's okay too. I hope everyone has a good one. It has been having a good one. I've had, I've had some real highs and real lows, but I'm fairly happy with my last decade and look forward to another one. So yeah, have a good day.